Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are covering one of the most shocking and controversial moments to emerge from the ongoing Israel Hamas war. A scene that has stunned audiences. Worldwide footage has surfaced showing an Israeli hostage seen kissing an Al-Qassam fighter on stage. The video spread rapidly across global and regional media platforms, igniting debate, confusion, and disbelief over what actually happened and what it means for both sides. Reports suggest the video was filmed somewhere in Gaza during what Hamas described as a symbolic event, showing so-called humane treatment of Israeli captives. The hostage, a young Israeli woman, appeared on stage flanked by Qassam Brigades fighters, one of them seen standing calmly beside her. Moments later, she turned toward the fighter and kissed him on the cheek. The audience reportedly erupted in applause while others watched in stunned silence. Israeli officials have immediately condemned the footage, calling it psychological warfare, a move aimed at manipulating public emotions and sending a twisted message to Israel and the world. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed that they are investigating the video's authenticity and have already contacted intelligence sources to verify whether the woman in the footage is among those still being held captive in Gaza. Meanwhile, Hamas officials claim the video is evidence of what they call respectful treatment of hostages, contradicting international reports that describe harsh and inhumane conditions for Israeli prisoners inside Gaza. This statement, however, has drawn harsh criticism from human rights observers who argue that using hostages for propaganda violates international law and the Geneva Convention's social media platforms have exploded with reactions, some users claiming the scene shows a moment of compassion, while others accuse Hamas of staging the entire event for publicity purposes. Israeli social media users expressed outrage, anger, and disbelief, questioning how such footage could even be released, and why Hamas would allow it to spread at a time when negotiations for prisoner exchanges are still ongoing. Several international media agencies have attempted to authenticate the video frame by frame experts analyzing lighting, facial recognition, and background markers to determine whether the clip was filmed recently or edited to create a specific narrative. Early investigations point toward it being genuine but possibly taken out of context during a planned media event organized by Hamas. Media units, political analysts, argue that the video is a psychological operation aimed at dividing Israeli public opinion. The gesture of a kiss, no matter how symbolic, sends a powerful visual message that challenges the enemy narrative and stirs emotional debate back home in Israel. It raises questions about what the hostage may have been told or threatened with before that moment, and whether she acted under duress or was part of a controlled media display. Inside Israel, officials and citizens alike are grappling with a deep sense of discomfort. The family of the hostage reportedly expressed both shock and confusion, saying they cannot yet comment until official confirmation arrives. The Israeli Prime Minister's office released a brief statement condemning the video as exploitation of human suffering and reiterating that no act of propaganda will change the reality of Hamas's brutal actions in Gaza. On the other hand, Hamas supporters are sharing the clip widely, claiming it shows a softer image of their fighters, trying to portray them as disciplined and humane. But critics say this is a calculated manipulation designed to improve the group's international image at a time when global opinion is shifting against them after weeks of violent escalation. The video has also sparked renewed debate over the future of negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Sources close to Egyptian mediators reveal that the footage may have complicated the already fragile talks over prisoner exchanges. Israel now suspects Hamas may be using hostages for propaganda leverage rather than genuine humanitarian releases, a move that could stall further negotiations and deepen mistrust. International organizations, including the United Nations and the Red Cross, have not directly commented on the video, but insiders suggest they are monitoring the situation closely. Reports indicate that humanitarian monitors may seek access to verify the condition of hostages still held in Gaza, but Hamas has so far refused to grant such access, citing security concerns. In Washington, the U.S. State Department called the footage deeply disturbing, urging Hamas to respect the rights of captives and stop using them for any political or media purpose. American intelligence officials are said to be analyzing the video for clues about the hostages' whereabouts and the current conditions inside Gaza's tunnels and detention facilities. Back in Israel, the footage has reignited protests, calling for the government to take stronger military action to bring hostages home. Demonstrations in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem drew thousands of participants, chanting slogans demanding immediate rescue operations. Families of captives held emotional vigils, holding photos of their loved ones while denouncing Hamas's manipulation of human life for spectacle. Meanwhile, psychological experts in Tel Aviv and abroad have weighed in, saying the moment captured in the video could represent a complex emotional survival response. Hostages under extreme psychological stress may display behaviors meant to appease captors, a condition known as Stockholm Syndrome, or simply a desperate act to avoid harm. This makes the scene even more tragic as it reflects the immense pressure and trauma endured by those held in captivity. Israeli military sources confirmed that intelligence operatives are reviewing every second of the footage to extract any possible clues. The backdrop, the lighting, the clothing, all are being studied for signs of where and when the video was taken. Analysts suspect it may have been filmed inside a temporary media facility set up in central Gaza, possibly just hours before being released online. At the same time, Hamas's media outlet has released statements doubling down on its claim that the event was real and spontaneous, saying the hostage acted out of gratitude for kind treatment. Though no evidence supports this claim, observers note that Hamas has a long history of using information warfare to manipulate emotions and shape narratives in the international press. Yes, Europe reactions have been mixed, with some media outlets calling the video shocking and manipulative, while others urge caution until full verification is complete. Diplomatic sources in Brussels and Berlin have privately expressed concern that this event could further destabilize fragile peace initiatives being discussed behind the scenes between regional actors, including Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. The Arab world opinion is divided, some commentators framing the video as a demonstration of moral strength, while others condemn it as a dangerous propaganda tool, exploiting a hostage's pain for political theater. In major Arab cities like Cairo, Amman, and Doha, the footage was trending online with millions of comments reflecting the polarized emotions. This single act has triggered across the Middle East. Israel's intelligence agency Mossad is said to be taking a leading role in analyzing the event, its cyber units tracing the source of the upload and the timing of its distribution. Experts believe the release was timed to coincide with growing global criticism of Hamas's handling of hostages, possibly as an attempt to distract from mounting pressure on the group from international organizations. Amid all the noise, one truth remains: the Israeli public is shaken. The image of an Israeli citizen under the control of Hamas performing such an act in public cuts deeply into the nation's sense of pride and pain. It reignites the emotional scars of ongoing captivity loss and national struggle. The emotional impact of this single image may last far longer than the conflict itself. As the story unfolds, questions multiply. Was the act voluntary or coerced? Was it a psychological ploy or a genuine moment of human confusion? What message does Hamas intend to send to Israel and the world, and how will Israel respond in the coming days? As investigations continue, global attention remains locked on this haunting moment that has once again blurred the lines between propaganda and tragedy, between war and humanity. This incident adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile conflict and highlights the increasingly sophisticated use of psychological warfare in modern-day conflicts. Both sides continue to battle, not only on the ground, but also in the realm of perception and information, where every image, every video, every gesture can sway emotions, shape policy, and redefine narratives in an instant. The coming days will be crucial as Israel works to authenticate the footage and determine the fate of the hostage. The global community will watch closely as the truth slowly emerges from beneath layers of propaganda manipulation and fear, once again reminding the world that in this war, reality itself has become a battlefield.